this Tuesday night.
My children don't have their grandmother. And they cry. They look at pictures of her and they cry.
For diabetics, insulin pumps can be life-changing, but if something goes wrong, the risks could be life-threatening. Our investigation into medical devices.
We are talking about keeping the plant open, period.
Political pressure on both sides of the border to respond to the GM cuts. But beyond tough talk, what should be done to help workers?
It shouldn't be part of the game. It shouldn't.
Breaking the locker room silence, a former NHLer is telling his very personal story of abuse, and he's not the only one. This is The National.
Our investigation into the safety of medical devices and implants has caught a lot of attention. So tonight, we focus on the device linked to the most injuries and deaths, according to our research. We're talking about insulin pumps. They're marketed as a safe and convenient way to manage type 1 diabetes, replacing multiple daily injections. But in the past decade, more than 100 Canadians died while wearing the pumps. That exclusive data comes from a CBC joint investigation with the Toronto Star and Radio-Canada. An estimated 30,000 Canadians use insulin pumps. They're more popular than ever now that provincial health plans pay for them. The CBC's Vicadopia looks at the personal cost when things go wrong.
Thank you for calling Medtronic 24-hour helpline. My name is Carol. How can I help you? Hi.
The eerie last phone call from a diabetes patient with a malfunctioning insulin pump. As the call goes on, Christine Laundrie struggles to remember her date of birth. Medtronic says it will call back in the morning, but by then Laundrie is unconscious, in a hypoglycemic coma, wearing her insulin pump, the device that was supposed to keep her blood sugars stable, even though she had a medical history of sharp ups and downs.
And then the endocrinologist, when she was in ICU, she said, because she was such a brittle diabetic, she was not even a candidate for the pump.
Christine Laundrie never recovered, remaining in a vegetative state. Laundrie not only used a pump, she actually trained insulin pump users for Medtronic. Her family is suing the company, pointing out the pump is now recalled. Medtronic says Laundrie was negligent for using it improperly. The same pump and a similar story for another Ontario woman, Brenda Peaker. A deadly dose of insulin took everything away.
My children don't have their grandmother. And they cry. They look at pictures of her and they cry and they wish that they could see her again.
Sarah Peaker and her lawyer have filed a suit claiming the company knew her model of insulin pump was faulty, a claim Medtronic has yet to respond to.
I want people to know that who are using insulin pumps that there is risk.
Data we obtained from Health Canada shows that since 2008, there were 103 deaths and more than 1,900 injuries involving insulin pumps, and almost 6,500 incidents had the potential for injury or death. During the same period, Health Canada issued 40 recalls for various pumps. This Alberta endocrinologist has consulted for insulin pump makers. He says pump malfunctions are more likely user error than defective devices, but he can't know for sure, though he says their growing popularity could mean growing risk.
I have expressed my unhappiness if I feel that pumps are being marketed or pushed too heavily at patients who've not been adequately trained in managing their diabetes.
Medtronic, which is the biggest player in the insulin pump market, says clinical studies demonstrate its products help people successfully control their diabetes, and that incident reports don't mean their devices caused harm. Still, Health Canada says as a result of recent concerns, companies now have to provide more detailed testing data before new pumps are licensed. As for Christine Laundrie, after 6 years in her state and declining health, in September, her family removed life support. She would have turned 55 today. Vicadopia, CBC News, Ottawa.
CBC News has compiled an exhaustive database on medical devices, so you can search for specific information relevant to you. Just go to cbcnews.ca/ medical devices.
Some remarkable journalism there. We turn now to the latest developments in the wake of GM's planned closure of its Oshawa plant. Tonight, though, it's about people, profits, and politics. The head of the union representing auto workers isn't giving up. He's arming up. Jerry Dias is talking about fighting the closure with strikes and tariffs, tooth and nail. This is after a closed-door meeting on Parliament Hill with Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. The CBC's Catherine Cullen tells us how it played out.
What are you expecting to hear from the Prime Minister today?
Well, today's meeting is about leadership.
But Jerry Dias' meeting with the Prime Minister was also about politics and pressure. He's making a claim no politician has matched. It's possible to stop GM from closing the Oshawa plant.
Well, it's not a fait accompli.
It was a closed-door meeting, and Dias left it full of tough talk.
If you're going to have a company that's going to show us their middle finger, then I think our government should show them their middle finger as well.
He says Canada and the U.S. should consider slapping tariffs on GM vehicles made in Mexico.
How else are you going to get their attention?
But the Liberals have blasted Donald Trump's use of tariffs.
The administration's choice to impose illegal and unacceptable tariffs,
which makes it tough for them to agree with Dias' suggestion, and yet
at this stage, we've been very clear we want to examine all options.
Mostly, the Liberals are offering generalities about helping workers.
Obviously, our focus is on the families right now.
But something like better employment insurance won't cut it for Dias.
We are talking about keeping the plant open, period.
Did anyone in the Prime Minister's office do anything to discourage you from some sort of walkout, plant takeover, anything that might be considered illegal labor action?
I'm not convinced that anybody really thinks that they will be able to stop what it is that we need to do in order to protect our members.
Dias only has to keep union members happy, while the Liberals presumably want to keep him as an ally without alienating anyone who might disagree with him. Right now, that means they're not saying much, except we're listening. Catherine Cullen, CBC News, Ottawa.
Now, the White House is taking a much more aggressive approach to GM job losses in the U.S. President Donald Trump sent out this tweet today. The U.S. saved General Motors, and this is the thanks we get. We are now looking at cutting all GM subsidies. GM shares dropped 2.5% on the stock market today. So lots of political rhetoric, certainly on both sides of the border. I'm joined by CBC's senior business correspondent, Peter Armstrong. Peter, let's start with this country. Can the Prime Minister, Jerry Dias, or anyone else for that matter, do anything to stop this?
The short answer is no, because once you strip out the politics of this, the economics are startlingly brutal. The Oshawa plant is just too big, and it's too empty, and it's been winding down now for 15 years. Go back to 2003. GM at that time was producing nearly 1 million vehicles a year out of Oshawa. Last year, it made just 125,000. The plant there is like 1 million square feet, so you'd need to produce 600,000 cars to warrant an operation that big. So how could you save it? You know, we've had people talking about moving production here from somewhere else. The question is, are we saying there that GM would go tell Trump that they're going to close down 2 more U.S. plants just to move those operations to Oshawa to make Justin Trudeau happy? That's just not in the cards.
Particularly given that he's already threatening to pull some sort of subsidy on GM. Would that have an impact on their decision?
Not really, because on the one hand, there just aren't a lot of subsidies at play here. On the other, GM is saying that this restructuring is going to save the company an estimated $6 billion a year. So that's going to offset any losses they'd face from the subsidies.
Okay, so at the end of the day, what does this decision mean for the broader Canadian economy? How does it compare with what's happening in Alberta, for instance?
It's a really good question, because it is important to zoom out. You know, politicians can't do that because, as we've seen in all these pieces, this is so hard on people. It's so emotionally difficult. Families, retirement plans just thrown into disarray. But if you can take a detached approach, the auto sector represents about 1% Canadian GDP, oil and gas at like 6.8% of GDP. Now, the auto sector has a lot more spin-offs, the steel industry, for example. So it's more than just 1%, but oil's impact is way bigger. And think back to 2014, when the price of oil collapsed, it hit the economy harder, and that hit lasted far longer than even the Bank of Canada expected.
Peter, thanks for this tonight.
You bet.
So that's the bigger picture, but behind all those numbers, of course, are people with bills to pay and mouths to feed. So what does the future look like for all those people losing their jobs? Jacqueline Hansen spoke with one GM employee today about how she's feeling.
For
For 16 years, Nadine Baldry has dedicated herself to the Oshawa plant, learning everything she can about how to assemble GM vehicles.
I love it, and I didn't further myself to educate myself or go to school or anything like that because I never thought this day would come.
Now that the plant is closing, she's afraid her experience won't do her much good anywhere else.
The knowledge that we learn in the factory, we cannot take out of the factory. It's not a certificate that another company is going to recognize.
But some experts say affected workers could find opportunities in other industries, since Canada's economy and job market are strong.
We do see some areas of the manufacturing sector where job openings are higher than in auto production. So, for example, producing fabricated metal products, machinery.
Still, it takes unemployed Canadians an average of almost 5 months to find a new job. And factory work that pays as well as GM won't be easy to come by.
I think it's going to be challenging for what comes next to really make up for what's been lost.
Baldry flips from optimism.
1 minute I was like, hey, this is a new opportunity for me, trying to think positive.
To intense worry for herself and her 2 daughters.
What am I going to do? I can't think of anything. I don't know what to do. Who's going to hire me? I'm 43 years old. I've been working in a factory.
Forced out of the career she thought would be a safe choice and caught in an industry in the midst of a major shift. Baldry's left behind by GM to wonder what comes next. Jacqueline Hansen, CBC News, Oshawa.
When news broke of the abuse allegations at St. Michael's College School, the impact went beyond the Toronto private school. For former NHLer Daniel Carcillo, it was the last straw. Carcillo says he suffered abuse at the hands of his teammates when he was a junior hockey player. Now he's speaking out and others are joining him. As Joanna Emiliotis explains, this is an awakening of sorts for athletes confronting the degrading rituals that have left scars.
One of the most vivid memories that stands out is one of my teammates being taped to a table, ass up, naked, being whipped with his own belt. He was screaming.
When Dan Carcillo unleashed his memories, he unleashed his demons too.
I feel sick to my stomach talking about this stuff. I'm sweaty, my hands are clammy, shaking a little bit. I just want people to know the truth.
The truth, he says, of the abuse he and his fellow teammates endured as rookie players in the Ontario Hockey League disclosed on Twitter, unspooling a raw reel of flashbacks. Like the time on the bus when he and several other teammates were stripped naked, stuffed into a tiny bathroom, spit on through the vents.
I can remember one of the guys hyperventilating, and I was just bashing on the door. And I was yelling, like, this guy's hyperventilating, we got to get out of here. And they finally opened it, and I just came out swinging.
The daily beatings with sawed-off goalie sticks, the degradation was a ritual. Coaches, he says, turned a blind eye until he finally threatened to leave. And he never told anyone, even his parents. He shared his mom's anguish today.
Today's really hard. That text from my mom killed me, You can't go to your parents with this because you want to get to the NHL, You're not going to let a bully or an abuser stop you. I wasn't.
Carcillo says the league did make changes when he spoke out. And he went on to take his rage out on the ice as an NHL enforcer. He thought he had buried it all until he heard about the sexual assault allegations at St. Michael's College in Toronto.
We need to stop using terms like hazing because I think that opens the door to justification. Abuse is abuse.
Former NHL goalie Ryan Muntz retired early. He runs a goalie school now. He and Carcillo were rookie teammates. The abuse, he says, made him suicidal.
I had more suicidal thoughts than anything else. I really didn't understand, these are supposed to be your friends, they're kind of your family. It's kind of really tough for you. emotionally and mentally, and you're supposed to keep quiet because, well, you're in the hockey community.
Experts say the high-profile disclosures may signal an era of reckoning in the athletic world, the start of its Me Too moment.
Keep the lid on things, to keep things covered up, serves no one. It advances nothing, and in fact, quite the opposite. It reproduces these cycles of violence that happen to athletes in sport.
The only way to break the cycle, Carcillo says, is to call it out. Because the demons, he says, will just lie in wait. Joanna Brumiliotis, CBC News, Toronto.
British Prime Minister Theresa May has exactly 2 weeks before Parliament votes on her Brexit plan, so she's on a last-minute dash to convince the public her deal is the right one.
How is sales going? Great. So we've got handmade bars with landscapes.
May is meeting with small business people at a country fair in Wales and in Northern Ireland, attending a roundtable on its future after Brexit. Meanwhile, dozens of activists from throughout the UK took a message of their own to Parliament. Young people streamed into Westminster to call for a public vote on the final Brexit deal. Nala Ayed explains what they have at stake.
They've come from all around the country with their best arguments and a lot of hope. Here to lend their names to the call, to the plea to turn the Brexit bus around. And there's not a lot of time left.
We're losing our rights, freedoms, tangible benefits, and making the economy poorer, which makes things harder as well.
They felt cheated by the Brexit vote. And now with a draft Brexit deal, they feel threatened, like these guys from Northern Ireland.
We're all children of the peace process, and we have seen a prosperous and peaceful society that we don't want to lose on the basis of a deal that we think is cobbled together and an absolute disaster.
Of all the dividing lines Brexit created, age was a big one. Statistics show the younger, the more likely to have voted Remain. And as Parliament prepares to vote on a deal to leave, they've walked over to be heard for a symbolic lobby takeover.
Today is sending a strong message to the parliamentarians that the future of this country, their future voters, do not want the Brexit that they put on the table and do not want Brexit, period.
Inside, there is occasional mention of, quote, young people.
But there are millions of young people out there.
Next generations of young people.
I don't think many young people in our country think this is a good deal for Britain at all.
What's missing is nuance about the impact. Rash Mahtani's jewellery business was inspired by studying in Paris and Florence. Half her sales are also in Europe, and so is part of her identity.
I think that pre-Brexit there was a sense that we had a lot of possibilities, and I think the narrative is so negative, and the incessant talking about it as well it just creates a kind of hostile environment and atmosphere, and I think that impacts young people a lot.
Really about the sort of traditional
There is a push for a new vote, and polls suggest Remain would edge ahead, partly because of younger voters.
If there were another referendum, there would be lots of voters who didn't have the chance to vote in the last referendum in 2016, but would now be eligible to vote because they've become at least 18 years old. And that group, like all of the other younger voters, now tell us they'd vote Remain.
Some of them are still not old enough to vote, but old enough to worry.
People's vote!
Nala Ayed, CBC News, London.
We're live here on the Pacific edition of The National, following some developing stories, including that tragic death of a mother and her 10-month-old in Yukon. They were killed by a grizzly while out walking near their remote cabin. The husband of Valerie Thioré was also attacked by the bear when he returned home yesterday. He shot and killed it, and then he found the bodies of his wife and child. The couple was running a trap line just northeast of Mayo, that is near the Yukon-Northwest Territories border. Canada Post employees have now ended those 5 weeks of rotating strikes. The union says it's still planning what it describes as demonstrations and non-violent civil disobedience. Canada Post says delays clearing the backlog of international parcels could stretch into March of next year, but letters slowed by the strikes should make it before Christmas.
Ahead tonight on The National, the push to bring electricity and jobs to a remote community in Northern Ontario. We'll take an in-depth look at what's really at stake.
And his story captured attention around the world. Stuck in limbo in a Malaysian airport for months, we catch up with a Syrian refugee on his first day here in Canada.
And a little later, the quick-thinking kids who saved their grandmother's life.
Well, I was gonna ask her for a snack, but then she didn't answer, so I looked over and like she was looking and looking. She was dead.
Since the initial high of legalization day, Canada's cannabis industry has been on a bit of a roller coaster ride, with some companies facing supply issues, delays in licensing and permitting, and a fickle stock market. But overall, the sector is still growing, and as Aaron Saltzman explains, that has to do with a new type of tech boom.
It still looks like the bud that was grown in basements and backyards, but this grow-op is far more sophisticated. Here, remote sensors monitor temperature, light intensity, nutrient levels. They know how much CO2 is in the air, how much moisture is in the soil, even how well the soil conducts electricity.
It basically tells you exactly what you need to know all the time, so you can guarantee that your plants are going to yield and you're going to get a good product.
The sensors are the brainchild of BrainGrid. Founded in 2012, its devices were originally used to monitor energy from solar panels. Legalization offered a much more lucrative opportunity.
We had to pivot into what we believe is the center stage for Canada. As a leader, globally speaking, cannabis is one of the best examples of where Canada is actually leading the world.
BrainGrid expects to go public by the end of the year, one of at least 13 Canadian cannabis-related technology companies trading on North American exchanges. It's a new tech boom, sparked by the explosive growth of cannabis producers. There are now more than 130 companies growing weed legally in Canada, all of them fighting to improve quality, increase production, and lower cost.
So in order to hit the kind of price points that these producers are going to have to hit in the next couple of years, they're absolutely going to have to use technology to manage their processes.
Brad Poulos teaches the business of cannabis at Ryerson University. He says with more and more cannabis producers fighting for market share, companies that support them may be the smarter play.
If you go back 100 and some years to the gold rush, the people who made the money were the people who sold the picks and the axes and the shovels and the pans, not so much the people who were scouting for gold.
What is going to happen?
That's what BrainGrid is counting on.
The red line is showing the prediction that our algorithms made as to
their next step, artificial intelligence. So their sensors will be able to predict a problem with a crop and fix it before it happens. A high-tech pick and shovel for this modern-day gold rush. Aaron Saltzman, CBC News, Burlington, Ontario.
Up next on The National, we'll take you to a remote community in Northern Ontario, one of the few in Canada still without reliable electricity. Why what's at stake is more than just power.
If you got a job on the power line, what would that mean to you?
Like I'm worth something.
I know I have something to live for.
The vast majority of Canadians are able to take electricity for granted, but this country is also home to hundreds of rural and remote communities, and many of them are still off the grid. People there feel powerless, having to rely on unreliable sources of energy to light and heat their homes. But there is a power shift happening in Northern Ontario. So our Nick Purden takes us to a community about 500 kilometers north of Thunder Bay.
There we go. It's hard to believe that in 2018, there are entire communities in Northern Ontario that don't have reliable power. They run on diesel generators. You got it. Imagine living in a place where there's not enough power to hook up new houses or provide reliable health care. And there are so many blackouts, it can take up to an extra year to finish high school. But there's a plan to change that.
You know, I can't wait till it starts so that I can hopefully get a job on it and start working on it. You know, be able to tell my kids, you know, Dad helped build that, Dad helped build the power line.
Kingfisher Lake First Nation in Northern Ontario. The only way to get in and out of here is by plane. Usually if the media visits, it's because of some kind of crisis. But not this time. A $1.6 billion project is going to bring power here. It means hundreds of jobs, and for a place like Kingfisher Lake, it means hope. The sun's barely up, and outside the hotel, I meet Greg Smith. Greg's here because of the power line, too.
I'm just having my cup of coffee for the morning, getting ready, getting our stuff together, and probably head down to the classroom in about half an hour. So,
Greg is a trainer. He's here to help the people of Kingfisher Lake get a fair shot at finding work on the transmission project.
okay, Greg. This is an opportunity for a job. The point of the course is that you guys get a job.
The
right?
2-week course focuses on work readiness. And in a place where training of any kind rarely happens, and unemployment is a major problem, this is a big deal. And that's why I'm here.
Right? The reality is, this power line should be there for at least 100 years, right? So to me, that says that you can have a job, your kids can have a job, and your grandkids could have a job.
Of course, the training doesn't guarantee a job, but for each of the 13 trainees, there's hope. The stakes are particularly high for Anthony Begg.
Yeah, it's like a second chance to rebuild my life again.
Anthony's story is pretty typical here, in that he dropped out of school partway through grade 11.
I didn't finish because in my teenage years I was heavily in my addiction, like heavily in drinking, doing drugs, doing all that stupid stuff.
Anthony ended up in jail for assault. Not an unfamiliar story either, when you consider Indigenous people make up 5% of Canada's population, but 27% of its inmates. But for Anthony, he tells me jail actually changed him for the better.
Gave me a lot of thought about my future. I was just thinking in there, writing poetry, reading, and I looked around my surrounding and thought to myself, I don't want to be like these people.
If you got a job on the power line, what would that mean to you?
It would mean to me like I'm worth something and be hopeful for my future.
If this project can give hope to a guy like Anthony, I realize this isn't only about electricity.
Yeah, you guys got such a great opportunity right now, and all the stuff we're teaching you, we can really put a job in there at the end of this, right? Like we can.
Listening to Greg, he's as much a cheerleader as a trainer. And maybe that's something that the trainees need.
I was like so impressed, man. I'm so proud of you guys. Like why not hire 13 guys from the community that want to work? So rather than going that
Greg represents the push to employ local people on the Powerline project. And if the trainees do well here, there's more opportunity.
What's that?
A 4-month course in Thunder Bay. This is where people from the First Nation communities in Northern Ontario train to actually put poles in the ground. All in all, 1,800 kilometers of power line will have to be run north.
Nick. Hi, Curtis.
Curtis, what do you guys, how's it going?
That's going good now.
What are you guys doing?
We're just going to go up to the pole and frame the pole a little bit, and we got to drill some holes up there. So.
Curtis Ray has a lot riding on this course. He moved his entire family 500 kilometers south to be here.
A week later, I got an email.
Curtis tells me this is his chance.
I was pretty happy when I got the news. I told my girlfriend, and she told our family, and we had said, okay, we're going to move out. So, what check are you on?
And what do you want to do with this training?
I actually want to start a career and hopefully help with the project up north. So.
What would it mean to be on the crew that brings power to your community?
I would definitely be proud. You know, it's something I can tell my kids that Dad helped build. So I think it would put a smile on their face.
There's another reason for Curtis to be proud. The First Nations in the north will own 51% of the power line.
We try to work within the timelines been established.
Margaret Kanikwanash is the CEO of the First Nation company Wataynikaneyap Power. For her, this project is a blueprint for the future.
Our youth today want employment, improved living conditions. Not only that, they want hope in terms of opportunities.
There's still a lot of work to do. Margaret meets regularly with the executives from the partner company, Fortis Ontario.
How do we ensure that training takes place within each of these First Nations? And we have.
Margaret is from one of the communities in the north that runs on unreliable diesel generators. And she's been trying to fix the problem for 10 years. One of the things she tells me she's fought for all along is training for her people.
When you see the young people being trained, what do you think about?
Hope. Keeping the community intact and families intact are also part of the overall vision, and also not relying on, the social, the welfare. As people, we were never on welfare in the past. We were hard workers. We lived off the land, and we had good work ethics, and those are the teachings that we need to revitalize to help our young ones recognize this is where we need to go.
Number two,
That's why for Margaret, the training in Kingfisher Lake is key to the plan. She wants to make sure that people don't just have jobs, but careers in their own communities.
I'm just going to explain something to you, student. You got to know that, because you guys got to be trained. And it's going
But back on the ground, the challenges remain clear. Today's class focuses on the basics.
When we say 9 o'clock in the morning, what have we been talking about all week long? 9 o'clock means sitting at your desk at 9 o'clock ready to go. Right, Jared?
It's trainer Tim O'Brien's turn to teach. Now he treats the classroom like a workplace, where he's the tough boss.
I'm trying to prepare you people for the industrial workforce that you're going to be in very shortly. And what we want to do is get that drilled into you so that it's second nature.
Tim tells me he worries about the prejudice the trainees will be up against if they get jobs. He knows because he had to get over his own.
I thought they were all lazy and all this kind of stuff. I didn't like that. I said, they're not. I know people, So I got to go find out what's holding them back.
Do you care about how they do?
I care an awful lot about what they do. I have personally chosen to do this. Rather, like I'm retired. I retired a long time ago, but I didn't know anything about the hardships of people living on a reserve or the First Nations people. I didn't have any clue. I just put them all and painted them all with one brush.
I try to imagine what Tim might have once thought of Leanne Mamakwa. Leanne's 24. She finished high school and did a year of college before dropping out.
What might a job mean for you?
Everything. Because I'm actually sober now.
And it's Leanne who really makes me understand what the power line means for people here.
All my teen years and young adult years, I've been struggling with alcohol and drugs. I'm grateful because you never really see opportunities around reservations, especially for us young people. I noticed that every time I would have a job, I'm sober. That once that ends, and I'm just back into that cycle. And then having a job, I know I have something to live for.
There's little doubt that the power line will improve the quality of life in these communities. But maybe just as important is how the promise of real jobs is already giving people a reason to go on. Nick Purdon, CBC News, Kingfisher Lake, Ontario.
As part of this project, the first community is expected to be hooked up sometime around Christmas. But in Canada, there are more than 200 rural and remote communities still off the grid. The majority of them depend on expensive diesel power generators. So replacing them, the government says, will not just give these communities more reliable power and generate jobs, but will also reduce environmental and health impacts.
Up next on The National, a Syrian man spent the last 7 months stranded at the airport in Kuala Lumpur. But today he woke up in Canada.
I was afraid that if I'm going to sleep and wake up the next morning, that I will be in the airport or detention camp, and this was just a dream.
But first, a story you'll see here tomorrow night on The National. Canadian astronaut David Saint-Jacques is preparing for space. He'll blast off next week atop a Russian rocket, and tomorrow we'll take you to Moscow. Here's a preview.
The Russians are extremely proud of their accomplishments in space, and they have all good reasons to be proud. And they're very welcoming to people like me who are coming here to learn about this space accomplishments that they are so proud of. So really, it's been for me an experience of like going through history books to be participating in this. I think this is great. This is a great moment in the history of human spaceflight because there's so many new avenues opening. There are so many other ways to go to orbit that are coming up, and people are now shifting their gaze to going back to the moon and then eventually to Mars. And with all these players, I think we have a really bright future.
We are live on the Pacific edition of The National, and we have an update on the Lion Air flight that crashed in Indonesia last month, killing 189 people. Safety investigators saying the plane was not airworthy on the previous flight, the one the day before. There was a technical issue with the Boeing 737 MAX jet's anti-stall system. So the pilot on that flight chose to shut the system down and continue the flight. But data retrieved from the black box showed that a similar problem ended up contributing to the crash. And there is an emergency unfolding right now in Australia. Sydney has been hit with a month's worth of rain in the space of 2 hours. One person has died, 2 police officers injured, and emergency crews so far performed 15 flood rescues. It is getting to late afternoon there now. The rain is forecast to last into the night. After spending months stranded in a Malaysian airport, a Syrian refugee is finally getting a fresh start here in Canada. Hassan Al-Khantar had just arrived in Whistler, where he's being sponsored by a group of residents. Laura Lynch spent the day with him as he adjusts to his new home.
This is your first.
Hi, how are you?
After a long journey, there's one thing Hassan Al-Khantar really wants.
Americano.
Here with his sponsor, Laurie Cooper, he's trying to settle in, but he's becoming something of a celebrity.
Thank you. Oh, pleasure to meet you too.
For the last few months. Al-Khantar stayed up all night out of excitement and fear.
I was afraid that if I'm going to sleep and wake up the next morning, that I will be in the airport or detention camp, and this was just a dream.
Less than 24 hours ago, Al-Khantar arrived in Vancouver to a warm welcome after a long ordeal. He was working abroad, lost his work permit, and didn't want to go back to war-torn Syria. So Al-Khantar wound up spending 7 months here, the Kuala Lumpur airport. After he was turned away from a Turkish Airlines flight and without Syrian papers, he had nowhere else to go. Eventually, he was detained by immigration.
I deserve to live.
Al-Khantar gained a global profile on social media, sharing images of his existence, pleading for a chance to leave to come to Canada.
I built a little tower.
He got his wish. Now he's settling in, learning how to stay warm in winter. His appearance has changed. A local barber cut his hair and trimmed his beard for free this morning. Others gave him warm jackets.
He is intelligent, kind.
Cooper says there were difficult days as she worked to bring him here.
It was frustrating for me as an individual and as someone who wants to help. But I also have to understand the reality of the government. It's not that straightforward. They are dealing with millions of people. Oh, it's already so.
For 2 months, she didn't speak to him at all. He was in a cramped, cold 4-by-5-meter cell with as many as 40 other detainees with lights on 24 hours a day.
There's no good prison.
Now, though, he has a new life, and even if a job at a hotel isn't perfect for a man trained in the law, he's grateful.
There's no shame in work. As long as you work and you are able to support yourself financially, not depend on others, it's a decent work, and work is a blessing. It's exactly what I want.
It's an oasis for now.
Today, Al-Khantar is breathing fresh mountain air and thinking of Syria, where winter meant snow and cold.
I did my part in the desert for 11 years and it was not a successful experience. So when I smelled the air and felt the cold here, it reminds me of my town. It's lovely.
A little bit different from...
It's quiet.
Not Syria, but it's home and he is free. That, he says, is all that matters. Laura Lynch, CBC News, Whistler.
You likely remember this photo we showed you on Sunday night. You can see a Honduran migrant and her young children running from tear gas at the U.S. border. Well, tonight we want to tell you more of the story behind that image. The mother and the photographer are sharing their stories in their own words. Take a listen.
I had a chance to talk with many migrants, and most of them say they want better life. Also, they want to give better future to their children. They say that's one of the reasons they want to go to the United States. When I saw the woman and then the girls, I think maybe that can tell a story. So that's why in that hectic and chaotic situation, maybe let me focus on them.
That woman caught in the chaos is Maria Meza, running away with her twin 5-year-old daughters.
Me sentía triste, con miedo y con ganas de llorar. Fue donde agarré a mis hijas para correr yo en ese momento. Y yo pensé que mis hijos se me iban a morir ahí junto conmigo por el gas.
Meza says they weren't crossing the border illegally, just rather trying to apply for asylum.
Nunca pensamos eso, que ellos iban a tirar esas bombas. Yo donde estaban los niños. Bueno, más ganas de llorar, pero de modo ahí tuve que correr yo porque el humo.
Personally, it's also quite meaningful picture, which can tell a story and then let the rest of the world know what's happening in the place I cover.
Next on The National, their mother taught them CPR, but she never thought they'd have to use it in real life. How 2 boys from Saskatchewan saved their grandmother's life.
I thought something was wrong, so that's why I called 911. We gave them our address, and then we told them that our grandma was unconscious and not waking up and not breathing and had no pulse.
That's coming up in our moment of the day, but first. In case you missed it, the creator of one of the world's biggest cartoon characters has died. Steven Hillenburg was the man behind SpongeBob SquarePants.
Who lives in a pineapple under the sea? SpongeBob SquarePants!
Hillenburg was 57 years old. He revealed last year he had ALS and said he'd keep working on his show as long as he could. The voice of SpongeBob paid tribute this spring.
SpongeBob's playful spirit of gentle anarchy, his humor, come directly 100% from my good buddy, Mr. Steven Hillenburg.
Hillenburg actually had a background in marine biology. One of his greatest inspirations, no surprise, may be the undersea world of Jacques Cousteau.
The sea, so fascinating, so wonderful.
SpongeBob's been on the air nearly 20 years now, oh, we're old, plus 2 movies and a smash Broadway musical. There's even a fungus named after Steven Hillenburg's creation, Spongiforma squarepantsy. I think I got that right. On social media today, tributes from fellow artists for a cartoonist with a truly bizarre idea that became a phenomenon. Grayson and Kyan Wu's mother taught them CPR this summer, all because a friend at a birthday party had said he knew how to do it. She never dreamed they would actually need to use the skill in real life. But when their grandmother went into cardiac arrest, the 2 boys jumped into action. They called 911 and started compressions, and they saved her life. Their story of bravery and quick thinking is our moment of the day.
I thought something was wrong, so that's why I called 911.
Apparently the boys had been watching a movie with my mom, and she had coughed a little bit and just slumped over in the chair.
Well, I was gonna ask her for a snack, but then she didn't answer, so I looked over and she was unconscious, and looking laying on the couch, and yeah, she looked dead. He checked up here for a pulse, and there wasn't one. And then I checked here, and there wasn't one either. Grayson called 911. Yeah. And then I talked to the 911 operator, and then she told me to get our grandma off the couch with no pillows on her body, below her body, and start compressions.
Not many people recover from cardiac arrest, especially, well, they just don't if they're not witnessed. My oldest son, or grandson that was doing the compressions was so worried that he had broken some ribs or my sternum because his first compression, he felt a crunch. And I said, yes, you in fact did do that, but that shows me that you did proper compressions. And that is what actually saved my life.
I mean, you know, I've taken classes, CPR classes. I'm sure you guys have too. We have to do that as part of our journalism training. And I would not have known to do all those steps. I wouldn't, especially if it was my grandmother. It's so remarkable.
One of my favorite parts of the interview is that they said, you know, we didn't fight over who was going to do what. The roles just happened naturally, apparently.
Everybody in that story is remarkable, that those kids did what they did, that their mother made sure that they learned CPR, that their grandmother seems to be doing really well, because she's right. A lot of people who have cardiac arrest, who need CPR, even those who get CPR, don't often have great outcomes. She looks like she's really healthy. So we need to refresh our lessons, and we need to cross our fingers that if we have to use CPR, we're as poised as they were.
Or at least if they're around, that would be good.
Yeah, follow us.
That is the National for November the 27th. Good night.
Good night.
Night.